You're tired? Good, you're supposed to be tired. The grind is designed to break the weak. The difference is, the strong don't rest, they rise. Because rest is not a right, it's a reward. And you haven't earned it yet? Listen carefully. This isn't a message for the comfortable. This is for the ones who say they want greatness, who talk about goals, dreams, success, but start complaining the moment it gets hard. You say you're tired. Of course you are. You think champions aren't tired. You think the ones who dominate didn't want to quit 1,000 times. The difference is they didn't, because rest is not something you do when you feel like it. Rest is something you earn when the work is done. Until you've won, until you've reached your goal, until you've built the life you said you would, rest is off limits. That's why you can't skip this speech. Because if you walk away now, you'll keep falling into the same cycle, working a little, quitting early, convincing yourself you deserve a break. But when you stay and understand this truth, you'll realize that every second of comfort you choose before victory is a second stolen from your destiny. You don't deserve rest until you win, and when you truly accept that, the world becomes yours. The hour that buys your future is the hour you finally understand that rest is a privilege, not a right. You've been taught your whole life that you deserve breaks, that you deserve comfort, that after a little effort you've earned time to relax. That's the mindset that keeps people average. That's the poison that destroys potential before it even has the chance to grow. You don't deserve rest just because you're tired. You deserve rest when you've earned victory, when you've reached the top, when you've built something worth protecting. Until then, rest is nothing but a distraction dressed up as self-care. The world doesn't pay for effort, it only pays for results. That's why you cannot walk away from this speech, because if you do, you'll go right back to living like everyone else, working half the day, complaining half the night, and convincing yourself you've done enough. But if you stay, you'll understand the truth. Rest is not given, it's earned through domination. The weak crave rest because they want comfort more than greatness. The strong crave discomfort because they know it's the only path that leads to power. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. It whispers in your ear and tells you that you've done enough when you haven't even scratched the surface. You think you're tired because you've worked hard, but the truth is you're tired because you've been lazy for too long. You're not exhausted from effort, you're exhausted from mediocrity. Real work gives you energy because it moves you closer to your purpose. Fake effort drains you because it leads nowhere. And until you stop mistaking fatigue for achievement, you'll keep falling into the same trap, taking breaks you haven't earned and wondering why you never get anywhere. The world doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't care about your stress, your excuses, your long days. The world rewards performance, not complaints. You either show results or you don't. There's no sympathy for the almost successful. That's why discipline exists, to remind you that your feelings are irrelevant. You can feel tired and still work. You can feel broken and still push. You can feel empty and still move forward. That's how winners are made. And they don't wait for the right time. They don't wait for the right feeling. They don't wait for permission to rest. They earn it through consistency, through grind, through an obsession that never dies. Every second you waste in comfort is a second stolen from your future. Every nap you take before victory, every lazy break you justify, every time you convince yourself you've done enough, you're stealing from the version of yourself who could have been unstoppable. You say you want success, but your habits scream comfort. You say you want freedom, but you act like you already have it. Freedom is earned through effort, not excuses. The ones who live free today are the ones who refused rest yesterday. They worked through pain, through fatigue, through every voice that told them to stop. And when they finally did rest, they rested like kings because they earned it. Here's the real reason you can't stop listening right now, because this is the part no one tells you. You've been brainwashed to believe that balance is the key, that working too hard is dangerous, that you need to listen to your body. But your body is built to adapt, your mind is built to expand, and your spirit is built to conquer. The only danger is never pushing far enough to see what you're truly capable of. The ones who tell you to rest early are the ones who've already given up on themselves. Don't take advice from people who've never won anything. Rest becomes beautiful only when it's earned. When you've sacrificed, when you've pushed past every limit, when you've turned exhaustion into fuel, that's when rest feels real. Because then you're not resting to escape the grind, you're resting to reload. There's a difference between running away from work and preparing for war. The first is weakness, the second is strategy, and strategy only belongs to those who've earned the right to use it. So stop thinking you deserve to relax just because you showed up. Showing up is the minimum. Everyone shows up. Winners finish. They bleed, they suffer, they crawl if they have to, but they finish. And only then do they rest. Because that rest isn't comfort anymore. It's conquest. It's the moment you look back at the chaos, the sacrifice, the pain, and say, I earned this. That's real peace. That's real reward. Until then, the grind doesn't stop because rest is a privilege, not a right. The hour that buys your legacy is the hour you finally understand that winners rest after conquest, not during battle. You've been told to take it easy, to pace yourself, to slow down and breathe. But let me tell you the truth, no one dares to say the world doesn't stop for the tired. The battle doesn't pause for your feelings. The clock doesn't care that you're exhausted. While you're catching your breath, someone else is taking your place. While you're scrolling, resting, or convincing yourself that you've done enough, someone hungrier is building, training, and fighting for the same dream you claim you want. That's why you can't turn away from this message. If you do, you'll keep living like everyone else, starting strong, quitting early, and wondering why you never win. The truth is simple: only those who finish earn the right to rest. Everyone else is just taking breaks in the middle of defeat. The weak call it balance. The strong call it surrender. You're not tired because you've worked too hard. You're tired because you've lived too soft. You've spent more time convincing yourself that you've earned a break than actually earning victory. Winners don't rest when they're tired. They rest when they're done. The difference between a champion and the average man isn't talent, it's timing. One rests when the war is over, the other rests in the middle of it. That's the difference between success and mediocrity, between progress and paralysis. Every battle you face in life is designed to test your endurance. Not your mood, not your comfort, your endurance. Because life rewards those who persist when everything inside them screams to stop. Pain is the tax you pay for greatness. The question is, are you willing to pay it, or will you keep trying to find discounts on success? There's no sale on victory, no shortcut to discipline, no half effort that earns full results. The moment you decide to rest too early, you've already surrendered the throne to someone else who refuses to quit. You see, the battlefield doesn't care about your excuses. The marketplace doesn't care about your feelings. The world only recognizes results. You can't post your potential, you can't deposit effort. The bank only takes results. And the reason most people never achieve them is because they stop too soon. They confuse exhaustion with accomplishment. They mistake effort for execution. They think showing up is the same as conquering, but showing up is the bare minimum. The grind begins after everyone else goes home. That's when the real test starts. The moments no one sees, the nights you want to quit, the mornings you wake up with nothing left in the tank and still move forward anyway. This is why most people will never understand what it means to win. They'll rest their whole lives waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, the right motivation. Winners don't wait for motivation. They move because the mission demands it. You don't need comfort to keep going. You need conviction. Conviction that your purpose is greater than your pain. Conviction that every second spent resting before victory is a second stolen from your destiny. You have to earn the right to rest through relentless consistency, through those days when everything hurts and you still refuse to stop, through those nights when you could sleep but you choose to build. The truth is, the grind doesn't care about how you feel. The universe rewards those who push through fatigue because only they've proven they can handle the weight of success. If you rest during battle, you lose momentum, you lose rhythm, you lose your edge. But when you fight until the last strike, when you cross that finish line, when you win the war, that's when rest transforms from weakness into honor. Rest should be a trophy, not a habit. You don't take it because you're tired, you take it because you've earned it. And when you finally do rest after conquest, it feels different, it feels sacred. Because you know what it costs? Every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt, every ounce of pain, all of it becomes worth it. You rest not because you escaped the fight, but because you conquered it. That's what separates warriors from wanderers. So the next time you feel like stopping, remember this: the battle isn't over. The world won't wait for you to catch your breath. You either keep fighting or you fade into the background. Winners rest after conquest, not during battle. Because when the war is on, comfort is the enemy. And when victory is yours, that's when you earn the only rest that matters, the rest that comes with pride, not regret. The hour that buys your destiny is the hour you choose discipline over emotion. That's the moment your life changes, because emotion will whisper lies to you every single day. It will tell you that you're tired when you're not. It will tell you to quit when you're close to winning. It will tell you that you've done enough when you've barely started. Emotion is a master manipulator, and most people spend their lives as its slave. They wake up when they feel like it, they work when they feel motivated, they chase goals only when it feels good, and then they wonder why they never make it. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it tells you what to do. And that's why you can't skip a single word of this. Because the second you understand that emotion is temporary and discipline is permanent, you'll unlock the version of yourself that no one can break. Emotion makes you weak. It gives you comfort when you need pressure, excuses when you need accountability, and rest when you need work. It convinces you that feelings matter more than progress, but winners know better. Winners don't operate on emotion, they operate on principle. You think the man who wakes up at 5 a.m. every day is excited every morning. You think the woman who trains through pain feels happy every session. No, they don't move because they feel like it. They move because the mission demands it. That's the difference. Emotion serves you when it's controlled, but when it controls you, it destroys everything you could have been. The truth is, emotion is easy, discipline is hard. Emotion fades when things get difficult. Discipline stays when everything falls apart. Emotion makes decisions based on now. Discipline makes decisions based on forever. And if you're tired of being stuck, tired of restarting, tired of wasting potential, it's because you've lived too long in the land of emotion. You've made choices based on how you feel instead of what you know you should do. Every time you let emotion win, you lose a piece of your power. Every time you choose comfort over consistency, you trade long-term strength for short-term relief. You say you want to change, you say you want success, you say you want freedom, then stop letting your feelings lead. Emotion tells you to sleep, Discipline tells you to rise. Emotion says it's okay to skip today. Discipline says today defines tomorrow. Emotion tells you to wait for motivation. Discipline says motivation is irrelevant. Action creates momentum. The difference between the successful and the average is not talent, it's not luck, it's not even intelligence. It's the ability to act the same regardless of mood. That's the real power. Because once you can move without emotion's permission, nothing can stop you. You've been trained by society to listen to your heart, to follow your feelings, to be kind to yourself. But self-kindness without self-discipline is self-sabotage. The world doesn't care how kind you are to yourself. It rewards those who show up no matter what. Your goals don't care about your feelings. Your dreams don't care about your comfort. The only language they understand is effort, consistency, and control. And if you can't master yourself, you'll forever be mastered by your emotions. This is the moment where most people stop watching because discipline is uncomfortable. It doesn't sound nice. It doesn't feel good. It forces you to admit that your emotions have been running your life. But that's why this message matters, because the truth doesn't care about comfort, it cares about growth. Emotion gives you reasons to pause. Discipline gives you reasons to rise. Emotion makes you talk, discipline makes you act. Emotion is loud but weak. Discipline is quiet but unstoppable. The man who wins isn't the one who feels the strongest. It's the one who stays the most consistent. He's not always confident, but he's always committed. He doesn't chase motivation. He creates movement. He knows that emotions change with the weather, but discipline builds empires that last through storms. When you learn to silence emotion and obey discipline, you become untouchable. Pain won't break you. Failure won't scare you. Doubt won't stop you, because you're no longer driven by feelings, you're driven by purpose. There's a peace that comes with discipline that emotion will never give you, a calmness that comes from knowing you'll do what's right no matter how you feel. And that's real freedom. Not freedom to do whatever you want, but freedom from the weakness that once controlled you. Every champion, every king, every legend you admire, they all mastered one thing: discipline over emotion. That's why they win when others quit. That's why they rise when others fall. So the next time emotion tells you to stop, remember this: emotion fades, but discipline builds forever. The ones who choose discipline don't wait to feel ready, they just move. And when they do, the world moves with them. Winners don't bow to emotion, they command it, they use it, they turn it into energy, into fuel, into focus. Because in the end, only one truth remains: emotion is a moment, but discipline is a legacy. The hour that buys your future is the hour you finally understand this truth: sacrifice now or regret forever. That's the line that separates the few who win from the millions who wish they had. Every second you delay, every comfort you choose, every excuse you tell yourself, it's all building a future you'll hate living in. The pain of sacrifice is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. You can escape discomfort for a moment, or you can escape mediocrity forever. That's your choice. And if you stop reading or listening now, you'll go right back to that comfortable routine, convincing yourself that one day you'll start. But one day never comes, because life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards those who act now, those who bleed now, those who sacrifice before the world forces them to. Every dream demands payment, and the currency is sacrifice. Success doesn't take excuses, it takes effort. You can either pay with time, energy, and discipline now, or you'll pay later with regret, bitterness, and what ifs. Most people choose comfort because it's easy to sell yourself a lie that you'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is the graveyard of ambition. You think you're saving energy by taking it easy, but you're really burning through your potential. You're trading greatness for convenience. You're sacrificing everything you could become just to feel comfortable in the moment. The truth is, sacrifice is not punishment, it's preparation. Every hour you give, every comfort you lose, every night you spend working while others sleep, it's not suffering, it's sharpening. You're training yourself to become someone the world can't break. The pain you feel today is building the strength you'll need tomorrow. The hunger you feel now will feed your purpose later, but you have to understand, the window of opportunity is closing every second. The world won't stop for you to get serious. Life won't slow down for you to find motivation. Either you sacrifice now, or you regret later wishing you had. Regret is heavier than any sacrifice. It haunts you. It shows up in quiet moments when you're alone. It whispers, you could have done more. It plays in your mind every time you see someone else living the life you wanted. Regret doesn't yell, it suffocates. And once it takes hold, there's no escaping it. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself. You'll know deep down that you had chances you didn't take, dreams you didn't chase, battles you didn't fight. That's why sacrifice is mercy, because it saves you from the agony of regret later. The most dangerous thing you can do is get comfortable losing. Most people settle for average because average doesn't demand pain, but comfort is the cage of champions. It keeps you soft, keeps you scared, keeps you small. You'll never find greatness on the couch. You'll find it in the hours of grind, in the early mornings, in the sacrifices no one sees. Everyone wants success until they realize what it costs. The successful don't just work harder, they give more. They give their time, their energy, their peace, their comfort, and sometimes even their relationships. Because they understand that the price of success must always be paid up front. You can't cheat the process, you can't skip the struggle, you can't buy shortcuts with excuses. Sacrifice is the gatekeeper to everything valuable. If you can't pay the price, you don't get in. You either suffer the pain of discipline now, or you'll suffer the pain of regret forever. One pain builds you, the other breaks you. The choice is yours. And don't misunderstand, sacrifice doesn't mean you lose. It means you trade temporary pleasure for permanent strength. It means you give up the weekend to build the life others will envy for decades. It means you stop living for applause and start living for legacy. Because when you sacrifice now, you're not giving something away. You're making an investment in your future self. The more you give now, the less you'll have to regret later. There's a version of you waiting at the top, the one who made the hard choices, the one who stayed disciplined, the one who didn't quit when it was inconvenient. But there's also another version, the one who gave up too soon, who settled, who's haunted by what could have been. You meet one of them in the future. Which one depends on the decisions you make right now? So remember this, sacrifice now or regret forever. You can live with the burn of discipline or the weight of regret. One pain ends, the other lasts. Sacrifice is temporary, regret is eternal. The question isn't whether it's hard, it's whether it's worth it. And if you want to live a life that means something, if you want to build a name that echoes after you're gone, you already know the answer. The hour that buys your greatness is the hour you finally understand that rest becomes power only when it's earned. The world has lied to you. It told you that rest is a right, that you deserve it just because you tried. That slowing down means balance, not weakness. But here's the truth, rest doesn't make you stronger when it's unearned, it makes you soft. Rest without achievement is just disguised laziness. You don't deserve peace until you've fought your war. You don't deserve sleep until you've conquered your day. That's why you can't stop listening right now, because if you do, you'll go back to living like everyone else, chasing comfort instead of victory, choosing rest before results. But when you stay, when you hear this truth through to the end, you'll understand how to turn exhaustion into fuel and rest into real, unstoppable power. People today worship rest like it's the goal. They think the point of working hard is so they can rest more. But winners don't work for rest, they work for results. Rest is not the goal, it's the reward. You don't get to relax until the mission is complete. The weak use rest as an escape, the strong use it as recovery. The weak rest because they're tired, the strong rest because they've earned it, and the difference between those two is everything. Because one uses rest to reset, while the other uses it to hide. You can't hide from the grind and expect to grow. You can't rest your way into strength. Rest means nothing if there's no battle before it. It's the effort, the sacrifice, the discipline that gives rest its value. That's why sleep feels different when you've earned it. Because it's not comfort, it's closure. It's the kind of rest that comes with pride, not guilt. Most people never experience that kind of rest. They rest too early, too often, too easily. They waste hours in the name of balance, not realizing balance means nothing when you haven't built anything to balance. You rest like you've won, but you haven't even started fighting. And then you wonder why you feel empty even after doing nothing. Because the soul knows when the body is lying, you can trick the world, but you can't trick yourself. The truth is, the body gets tired, but the mind quits first. Most people never reach their limit because they surrender to fatigue before they ever touch their potential. The moment you tell yourself, I deserve a break, that's when the enemy inside you wins. Rest becomes power when it follows sacrifice, not when it replaces it. The person who can delay rest is the one who controls their future. Because when you can push through pain, you unlock a version of yourself that's unshackable. Think about it. The lion doesn't rest before the hunt. The soldier doesn't rest before the battle. They rest after victory. Because they understand rest is sacred only when it's earned. Every great thing in life demands a price, and rest is no exception. You must pay for it with effort. You must earn it through exhaustion. You must deserve it through discipline. That's what gives rest meaning. The fact that it was conquered. And this is where most people fail. They confuse recovery with retreat. They confuse self-care with self-sabotage. They think taking a break will solve their lack of results, but the problem isn't tiredness, it's weakness. You don't need more sleep, you need more fire. You don't need more rest, you need more reason. Because when your purpose burns hot enough, fatigue becomes fuel. You see, rest isn't about stopping, it's about recharging. It's not meant to replace the fight, it's meant to prepare you for the next one. When you earn your rest, it gives you more than sleep. It gives you strength. It resets your body, clears your mind, and sharpens your focus. That's real power. That's why rest is not the enemy laziness is. Rest becomes dangerous only when it's undeserved. So ask yourself, have you earned the right to rest? Have you fought hard enough to deserve recovery? Or are you using rest as an excuse to avoid responsibility? The moment you start earning your rest instead of escaping into it, your entire life changes. You start to move differently, work differently, sleep differently. Because now, every second of rest carries pride instead of guilt, satisfaction instead of shame. And that's the secret the world doesn't tell you. Rest isn't meant to weaken you, it's meant to reward you, but only when it follows work, only when it trails victory, only when it's drenched in sweat, effort, and purpose. Rest without work is decay, but rest after work is resurrection. So don't crave rest, crave conquest, crave the exhaustion that makes rest worth it. Because only then, when the fight is over and the mission is complete, will you feel that rare kind of peace that only warriors know, the rest that renews, the rest that becomes power when earned.